It is time for another Instagram feed review today. We are starting fresh for the week, and we have a really cute Instagram feed to look over. So we're going to hop on over to my screencast, and we're going to hear about what they had questions on. So let's jump on over. Okay, so, oh wait, I have not jumped over yet. Jump over. Jump. There it is. Okay, so here we are. We are looking at Ella Sadika Jackson at ellajackson.art. She wants to know, she's starting out at a fine art wedding as a fine art wedding stationer. She has a lot of super detailed watercolor elements, and she wants to build up her finished suite. She's been trying to put pieces up that showcase her general ability, but she finds captions a real struggle. Any input would be hugely appreciated. So I'm going to jump right back to myself really quick. Okay, I have this question so much. People are not writers. I mean, most people aren't, right? If you're a writer, 100% fantastic. You probably struggle more with the art. If you don't struggle with the art, you probably have a harder time with the captions. It's two pieces of the puzzle, right? As a magazine article editor, like you are, you have to have both. You have to have the art to grab people in, then you have to have the copy that actually gets them to invest in you and really understand the story that you're trying to tell. You can't storytell on Instagram without both, right? Some people do have some Instagram feeds that are just beautiful to look at, but when you click over, there's nothing there. And that does not lend for consistency or for real in-depth conversation. And again, social media is social. It's in fact there to start conversations. Imagine you're walking into a party and it is a party where you decide what you want to wear. So when you walk in and you really want attention, you want to grab people's attention and you want the opportunity to storytell to these people, you have to wear something that's going to attract people's eye, right? It's the same exact thing on Instagram. It is the same. We are trying to attract people's attention so we can tell them a story in order for them to feel an emotion to lead them to do an action we want them to do. Every single person on Instagram is trying to do that. Get attention, tell a story, and then lead to an action. Those are the three pillars. So people that are really, really good at the visuals, like Ella is, because she is a watercolor artist, her work is beautiful, but she has a hard time with the words, the captions. So let's go over and look at her feed really quick. She has 74 posts, and they all do look beautiful. The visuals totally work. She's got this 9-grid thing down. All of it flows together. The color palettes look perfect. The entire thing is speaking to who she is. Totally get that. The problem that she's having, though, is when you click over is her captions. So this is what I would suggest for that. Let me go back to me. What I would suggest is to start collecting stories in your voice memo. With me, and not everyone is like this. If you're a better writer and you're good at just writing, start journaling every single day. But if you're not good at journaling and that's not your jam, my solution to this is my iPhone. I go over into the voice memo app. This is what it looks like. Let me see if I can get it to where it's in focus. This is what it looks like. So the app itself looks like this. Can you see it? It's the voice memo app. I click on it and I just speak. I just hit this red button and I just speak directly into my phone. I figure out what different stories I'm trying to tell, and you can clip in your earbuds. You can put it on in, and there's a microphone right here. And as long as you're talking into it, it will capture the things that you're saying. So imagine you're just talking to a friend, or imagine you're going into that cocktail party and you're meeting someone new for the first time. And imagine what you want to tell them about your life, about your business, about your hobby, about your passion, whatever it is, whatever the different content pillars that you selected are. Also, can you hear my dog chomping on his dog food so loud? Ignore that. But just start using your word, because we want our copy to sound like our actual voice. We want people to have that seamless, let me turn this off. We want people to have that really seamless experience with us. So when they meet us in person, we want them to have that same connection as when they read our posts on Instagram. So we want to write as we speak. So if you're doing this voice memo and you're capturing your words and your inflections and just the different phrases that you say, the things that are unique to you and your personality, the more you can infuse that in your actual writing on your captions, the better. We just create that consistent experience. So start collecting that every single day when you know what your different topics are. So for me, if you can choose, I'm actually writing a blog post about this today, and it's going to be about the 3 different approaches. So whether you use the weekly theme thing like I use my Hot Mess Mondays, I use my Instagram Tip Tuesdays, I do my happy hour Fridays. So for happy hour, I know I'm going to share something about happy hour every single Friday evening. It's the end of the week. It's how I like to celebrate. So I will curate those images, or I'll shoot them. I'll create them myself. And then I have to think about the stories I want to tell. I don't have to think of that story on Friday at 5 p.m. I want to think about it ahead of time. And I actually really like batching. So the idea of batching is sitting down and creating content all at once for something. So I'll do this, especially I just did this with Hot Mess Monday. I will sit down and I'll say, okay, for the next 13 weeks, because that is a quarter, what am I going to talk about on Hot Mess Monday? Can I think of 13 different things that have happened that are funny in my life and list them off, and then create those captions? And I sit down and I create those captions just like that. I just talk right into my phone. So what is today's caption? I can't remember what today's is, but I know one of them that I listed was Goldie got into the cat litter box, right? Which is disgusting, but it was funny. So I listed all of my different prompts down. The graphics are created now. And what I'm going to do is, to create that copy, I'm just going to sit down and tell that story like I would tell a friend. One time we had Goldie over for dinner, and we couldn't find her. She was really quiet in the back, and we didn't know what happened to her. And we were looking, we looked in everyone's bedrooms, we looked under beds, we looked in closets, we couldn't find her. And all of a sudden we heard this like crunchy scratching noise, and we look in the laundry room, and Goldie is underneath the cabinets where the cat litter box is, playing in that pink sand. Thank God none ended up in her mouth. But it was all over the floor, all over her, and it was probably the grossest thing I've ever experienced. I will sing exactly those words in my phone, and then I will sit down and I will transcribe them. I will turn that into a caption of my Instagram post. I have it all nice and scheduled in Grum, and now in 2-3 weeks, whenever it goes live, I have that finished. I don't have to think about it again. I don't have to sit down and say, oh my gosh, I have writer's block, I have caption block, I don't know what to say. It's done. It's said. So same thing for you. Let's go back to your feed. Ella, this might be, maybe you decide that you're going to share works in progress, right? So you can sit down right now and say, okay, whenever I'm going to be sharing about works in progress, what do I want to share? Maybe what is my system? What is my routine? What is my favorite cup of tea that I have to have every time I write? What are the different music that I play when I start to get creative? Maybe what are the supplies that I use? What are the different brushes that I use? Where do I draw inspiration from? All of these things can be stories that you can tell, and then you just sit down and talk it out, girl. Just talk it out like you would tell a friend. Exactly those things. Maybe it's travel. Maybe travel is what really inspires you, and so you want to sit down and you're going to say, okay, maybe I don't travel a lot right now. I mean, if you do, great, and you probably have tons of stories to talk about. I feel like this caption is pretty awesome. You've pulled from a book quote, and I love that. I think that is something really great to use in your captions. But maybe if travel is something that you're super into, and maybe you don't get to travel a lot right now, talk about the places you want to see and why you want to see it and the different landmarks you would experience, or maybe the different things like this. I'm not a traveler, but I'm assuming this is Greece. I don't know. But if it is, I would say I would love to go to Greece. I saw that movie Mamma Mia, and it totally just made me fall in love with it. And I have had a goal forever and ever and ever to go to Greece and meet this, I don't know if you're single or not, but meet this amazing Greek man, and we would drink, you know, I don't know what they drink there. I have no idea. I'm not a traveler. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can make up these stories. Use it to whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to story tell, whatever you want people to feel when they come to your feed. And that is really the key. Let me go back to me. It's really about the stories you want to tell these people. It's not so much about, I mean, it is about you. I won't want to say it's not about you. It is. But like when people do their about pages on their website, it's like, I like long walks on the beach and I love puppies. But it's cool. Like, we love that too. But like, why does that have to do with us? Try to make it apply to them. So as far as travel goes, you can say, you know, I've always wanted to go to Greece. I saw that movie Mamma Mia. It was so amazing. And I try to infuse elements of that into my work, or I daydream about that as I'm painting these scenes. Try to tie it back to them. Tie it back to why you're doing what you're doing, and they can see it transcribed in your work. So that's my suggestions for that. Hopefully it wasn't too long-winded and it made sense, but use the voice memo if you're not a great writer, if you're not used to it, and just start sitting down and batching those stories. Do not try to come up with these stories fresh and unique and original every day. It's too hard. It really is. Start getting in a system. And if you have to do a routine where 7 a.m. every morning, you get yourself a cup of coffee, pumpkin spice if possible, you sit outside because it's finally nice outside on your front porch, and you can just sit down and just journal. Write down, what are the stories I need to tell today? Write them down, start recording them, and then you transcribe them. that's my suggestion for today. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another Instagram feed review.